Hi everyone, Fina here from Fina Reads. Welcome back to my channel. Today with another book review for the self-published science fiction competition number 2, or SPSFC number 2. In this review, I'll be talking about the 4th quarterfinalist that I read for Team Dragons in Space, which I'm part of, and that is Hammer and Crucible by Cameron Cooper. This is book 1 in the Imperial Hammer series. The series consists of 5 books as far as I know right this second. They are all pretty short, so this one is like 300 and a little bit pages, and you can see book 2, which I already have here, is a little bit thinner. They are really manageable sizes. In this review, I'll cover again a quick summary about the book. I'll talk about the world building and the characters, the writing style, and then just my personal opinions for this book. Usually for the summary, I read the synopsis at the back, but when I read it as I was preparing for this review, I realized this is kind of spoilery. So for this one, you might actually not want to read the... I don't know if it's really spoilery. I thought it was, because some of the things that are described in the summary happen rather late in the book, or you discover rather late in the book. That's why I'm skipping this, because that's the fun of some of these, right? That you discover those things and not kind of already know that this is what we're working towards. Anyway, in this book we are following Dani and Della, who is an older woman, which is kind of a novelty in this universe, and her granddaughter Juliana. And the granddaughter kind of heard something that leads her to believe that the death of her father was not quite right, that there was something wrong. So she's asking for help from Dani to figure out what it is all about with the death of their son/father. And that's essentially what the first book in the series is about. Like them getting together, them getting started on that journey, and slowly discovering the conspiracy behind the death of their son/father. It's going to be interesting in this description. The problem is that Dani is kind of a done with the world type person. She, is content with where she's at. She's aging, which again is, as I said earlier, right, is a novelty in the universe. And she just wants to be left alone. But there's this nagging feeling in the back of her head that her granddaughter might be right. So they get together and start the journey towards finding out what's happening. And as they go through the journey, they're meeting old acquaintances, they're meeting new friends, and they're forming a really interesting group of characters that we are following throughout the book. Getting into the world building and character development now. The book itself is a space opera, so we are in a big universe that we are following along. The interesting part about this book is I find it is a perfect balance between, entertaining and fun and lighthearted, and towards epicness like Dune big size with a lot of backstory and history. So it sits right in the middle of it. One of the things that I found really interesting is that she built a world with unique characteristics. Like she has some specific words to describe people living on a planet versus on a space station, just as an example. The technology that is part of this world, and that is a really important part of this story. It is enough to give you a really nice and gritty thing to dig your teeth into and to experience and to learn about. There's also a good backstory on just the history of the universe and, what happened in the last, 100,000 of years, that it's not getting boring, right? It's not that fun, entertaining type of sci-fi. There is a lot of stuff there that keeps your mind going and keeps you wondering like what is happening, etc. Similar with the characters, they're snarky, they're witty, they're really a lot of fun just to follow around and to get to know, and you learn a lot as the story progresses. So she is really good in letting you know the things when you're supposed to know them, so you discover slowly with them on what's actually happening in the world and why are certain things happening as part of the story. Getting to the writing style, what I also thought was really interesting is the way she tells the story, the way she is describing what is happening around them, the way she's describing the spaceship they're on, like all those type of things. And it's not like a flowery prose at all, but she uses some really great ways of describing the scenes and kind of painting the picture while making it fun and entertaining to follow. So it's really, as I said, a good balance between epicness sci-fi while still being entertaining, fast-paced, and really easy to read, which I think is great. From a just general writing perspective, the only thing that I might want to call out is that there were like a handful of grammar issues or missing words, but nothing major that popped out for me. On the contrary, it was really a really fluent experience to read through this book, and I actually read through it quite fast as well. Talking a little bit about like who might like this versus who doesn't, it always depends on what type of reader you are. I find this is an interesting book because it sits kind of in the middle of fun entertainment and epicness that makes it really interesting for a wide variety of readers. It's also not a super hard sci-fi. While there are like technical explanations and there is some more sci-fi parts to it, they're not overwhelming or over-explained. So this might even actually be a good book for a sci-fi beginner that just wants to dip their toes into, oh, what does a space opera look like, without being overwhelmed with details or with, backstory, etc. For me, it had a lot of redeeming qualities just from a storytelling perspective, from the way the story is told, from the background information that you do get, and plain from the characters. I really loved all the characters that were part of the story. They were also unique and just a joy to explore, which sounds weird, but you know what I mean. Which leads me to my personal opinion. And again, that's my personal opinion, right? That doesn't reflect what the rating is overall for the team, because we all have to put our ratings together and that will be the end result then for the semifinalists. For me personally, so far, this is hands down my favorite books out of the ones that I've read so far. I'm not saying the others are bad, but this one just has the most to give in my opinion. There's still 3 more to go, so we'll see. That might change. But I just had a blast with this book. I enjoyed every minute of it. And that's the reason why I already bought book 2. I definitely want to continue reading in the series and see how the journey for Danny and Juliana continues and how the rest evolves, especially with the result that we had at the end of this book, like how they are now dealing with this. By the way, this is also really important for a lot of people who read series. There's no cliffhanger ending. So I hope you enjoyed this quick review of Hammer and Crucible by Cameron Cooper. As I said, if you want to read a really entertaining, yet with somewhat depth kind of sci-fi story, this is really a lot of fun. Plus, if you like family relationships, in this book you have a granddaughter-grandmother relationship that I really, really enjoyed and that I thought was really well done throughout the book. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for checking out the review. Don't forget to check out the other reviews by the other team members and also the reviews that I've already put out there for the quarterfinalists for Team Dragon in Space for SPSFC2. Man, those are long words. And look forward to a couple of more to come. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I see you soon with my next video. Bye!